Hey, Stay, how's it going?
Hey Adam, pretty good. Stoked to be here at our hardcover live number. What is it? 46?
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
so.
so. Yeah,
Yeah,
and we have a special guest this week.
yeah. We have Ross from Hardee's Books and Laura from Hardee's Books, and they're the powerhouse behind Hardee's Books. And
Thank you for welcoming us on today. Laura's just to the side. She's positioned herself to heckle as and when
that's perfect.
demands.
Here we go. That's great. So Russ and Laura, Russ turned his book buying obsession into a thriving venture, and together with Laura, they channeled their passion for fantasy and sci-fi into meaningful action. They also donate 20% of their profits to charity, and we'll later touch upon that. And they're here to share stories from the heart of Hardy's books. So I guess we can go ahead and dive in.
I want to thank you both again for inviting us on. And I mean, honestly, it's been a wild couple of weeks. Considering, I wanted to talk about hardcover on the channel for a while, and it was such a surprise when our video, which for context for people who are joining this and don't know, we released a video a few weeks ago that hit the algorithm, which is always a good feeling. I always call it being fire hosed. It's like, oh, okay, right. So, okay, that number's going up. Does that number stop at any point? It's kind of crazy, but it was nice for it to happen in a way that benefits someone else. That benefits like an initiative that we really like, and for it to benefit you guys. So it's been a crazy couple of weeks, but here we are, and and yeah, didn't see this coming.
Yeah, is this the I think I checked on your channel. There was maybe one video that had even more views than this one, but aside from that, has this been like the biggest explosion in sudden popularity?
So we had one other full-length video that did over 10,000 views. This one has surpassed it. We got quite lucky with the algorithm quite early on, but that was like a top 10 fantasy books video. And I think it holds up. I mean, it's very early on, didn't really know what I was doing, but I still like it. But this one is our most viewed full-length video. We have one video that has more views, and that's a short, because and if you go on our channel, you'll find it. In our old flats, I built one of those hidden bookcase doors, and
Wow.
I did a short about it, and that people liked that. So people like shiny things. Have you noticed that? I think people are magpies when it comes to things on YouTube. So they like revolving doors, and they like Goodreads alternatives as well. I've discovered.
It's a lot of people sticking to novelty. Like novelty has a strange attraction.
But you guys are doing more than novelty. You're building something here to stay. Stay is building something to stay.
Here we go. Yeah. Well, yeah. Hopefully, we're gonna be here a long while, and it's been so good. I mean, we woke up in the morning and we were like, "What's with all this traffic coming to our site?" And we've been trying to identify the source. And when we saw the video, we're like, "Whoa, look at this!" And it's been like so good, like seeing the video go so well in the algorithm. We had some theories about why that happened, and yeah, probably like it's like people really being really seeking a Goodreads alternative while being angry at whatever they're using that's making them angry, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That and Ross's sparkling charisma and personality.
Obviously.
Oh, of course.
Highest level, They saw my face on the thumbnail. I thought, God, he's
Need to click on that.
smolder.
Oh yeah.
I think like sitting down in a chair, like just like you look like a millennial Mr. Rogers, like talking about hardcover.
I've never heard a greater compliment. Thank you, Adam. I'm going to put that on my gravestone. That's lovely.
Gives you my chair.
Oh, Laura's coming in. Laura's coming in.
Nudge up.
Here we go.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi, hi.
She couldn't hold off. She needed
That
to
took me how many minutes? What's the time? I don't even know.
We're
Why
5
is there
minutes
a
in.
clock on your computer?
because I'm on full screen. There you go.
Okay, 6 minutes.
Yeah, 6 minutes. So this is Laura.
Hello.
Folks who might have watched that video but then haven't watched anything else. Laura is the other half of Hardee's books.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what can we say apart from, your the better half of Hardee's books.
There we go.
There you go. That's kind of where I was asking towards.
And yeah,
That's perfect.
and speaking of Hardee's books, and Millennial Mr. Rogers, like Hardee's book kind of feels like a millennial dream, like taking a passion that you were doing on your own, like that is books, and like turning that into a business. Could you tell us a little bit more about how you all got started with that?
Basically, he kept buying books to the point where we couldn't move in our flat. We had to move house because there were so many books. And I said, this is ridiculous. We need a 1 in, 1 out policy. So we started selling them.
Yeah.
And that's basically how the book business came to be.
I mean, I was doing it already. So I was doing it on Vinted. For folks in Europe will probably be more familiar with Vinted. It's like just a reselling platform. What do you got in the States? I'm trying to think now. It's a flipping thing like Depop or like
eBay.
Yeah, things like that. So I was buying books on there, and in order to buy books, I was selling books for and using the credit and all that, and kind of there's just a bit of turnover. I ended up owning quite a lot of books, and then I kind of realized, like, hold on, I'm doing this a lot. I could probably make something out of this, and there's a dream behind it as well. Like there's been the dream is one day to actually own and run a physical bookshop.
Yeah, so I ran a half marathon, and while I was running the half marathon, Ross went book shopping. So I finished and was like completely spent, and he then dragged me around this little tiny bookshop that he'd found, and was like, we need to start a shop, Laura.
Just look at it.
Look at it. This is the dream. I was just there like, I am so tired. Like, I need to go home immediately. Like, if I agree, can we go home?
You're like barely able to stand at this point.
Yeah.
You're like leaning against the shelves.
Yeah.
So, it was a really...
It had a tree. It had a tree in the bookshop. I mean, that
was cool.
Well, now I'm curious. Is it in London? Is it?
Yeah, it's in Kew.
Really?
It's by Kew Gardens.
Yeah. Lloyd's of Kew, I think it's called.
I did the Kew Gardens half,
yeah,
and then I finished and was like basically crawling. And he's like, "We need to go to this amazing bookshop."
I mean, you liked it. Adam, just to answer your original question there, I just think the real millennial dream is an end to back pain. So,
Tell me about
in
it.
answering to like, are we living the dream yet?
No.
I would say, it's still scale-wise, it's still very much a supplemental income. It's not something that in terms of time it takes up, it's not, it doesn't take up too much time, but it does take up a lot of space. So, we are kind of restricted by what we can fit inside our new house, which we bought for this.
And which is already full.
So the dream is on the horizon out there somewhere, making bricks and mortar cool again. With the Hardee's Books physical store. Yeah, as a waffling long answer to your question.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
It seems like it's
like,
go ahead, Steve.
You go ahead. I was gonna say it's great that.
It's so great you guys can finish each other's sentences. You've been hanging around for so long.
So cute.
They're so cute. Oh my gosh.
This is what happens when we spend too much time on these calls. We just like bounce off each other. But you can go ahead, Steve.
Alphabetical order, please. Alphabetical. Seriously.
I was just gonna say it's like it's either the Stardew Valley dream or like the Bookshop, like Legends and Lattes kind of.
Oh yeah. And I have played that game and I have read that book, and absolutely both those things highly appeal. I haven't read the sequel to Legends. I haven't read Bookshops and Bone Dust yet. I do need to get on that. Some on the shelf behind me, some up there. But Legends of Lattes was like, isn't that so amazing? It's just so. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say the words. Rhymes with Rosie, but it was comfortable and delightful.
Yeah.
And it really is. That's the millennial dream right there. Building something with your friends and with your loved ones.
Oh yeah, here we go. Shout
That's a
out to
good one.
that. Yeah. Do you think that's gonna like? What's your feeling? Are bookshops, physical brick and mortar bookshops, are they gonna make a comeback at some point?
Well,
They're not financially.
financially, they are hard work.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So in order to make it work, you need a model that would make it work. And I think people who can do the secondhand thing really well, I bow to them, because I don't really know how you could do a full physical secondhand shop, because you'd have to sell like, you know, 2 or 3 really high value books every single day. I don't know how you do that. Whereas if you're doing,
we're selling like 3 moderately high value books a month.
Maybe, yeah.
So,
but the other aspect of that is buying books to sell. You need
real time sink.
Yeah, like you need to find someone who's selling books at a good value, or people coming to you to sell their books to you.
Because there's also the risk that you're going to end up with a load of stale stock.
Yeah,
that you're just sitting on.
So these are the challenges. I think the best model is actually just to go down the independent new bookshop model and to try to set yourself out as a competitor to, in the UK, Waterstones, or in the US, Barnes & Noble, or something like that, where, you are, people have an appetite to shop indie. Yeah. And if you're doing that, but very well, then
there are some hybrid stores that are sort of hybrid indie new books, hybrid, secondhand.
Yeah.
And they do reasonably well. That, or secondhand booksellers that have a really strong online presence.
One thing that I think that people don't appreciate about the difference between a bookshop and another bricks and mortar store that's just selling something, like paint, as an example, is like buying paint isn't really much of an experience unless you're, have some kind of artisanal, paint mixer man who does it in front of you, But buying books is an experience, and in the kind of experience-based high street economy, bookshops have a place. They have a smell, they have a vibe.
I would argue that paint also has a smell.
Paint does have a smell. Unless you buy posh fancy clay paint.
Well,
and then the lack of smell is part of its charm.
One of the trends we've seen here, some in Utah, are like bookshops opening with like a cafe, like pastries. And then
that's been my dream since I was, little.
You just need a ratkin in the background making the apple danishes or whatever. Sorry, that's Legends and Lattes. There you go.
Yes, I haven't read it. For context, I've not read Legends and Lattes.
You just 7 hours. You should read it.
You just walk in and you're hit by cinnamon bun odor everywhere.
See, that's it. That is actually probably the nearest really successful indie bookshop to us. Does do that. Seven Oaks Bookshop. For a little shout out for to them, because they're great. They do exactly that.
Yeah, we love Seven Oaks Bookshop. If you are watching and you're local to the Seven Oaks area,
buy a book from them.
Yeah.
I'll go check them out.
Yeah, do it.
Yes, they should. I mean,
if you're coming to the Seven Oaks area and you do not come and visit us, I will take it personally.
Yeah, come on. It's only just down that line.
I'm gonna definitely take you up on that. So expect
expect we have a spare room now that's only moderately filled with books.
Yeah.
Like
wow. Just sitting among books. Yeah, that sounds great. I was gonna ask about your charity givings, because I know you donate 20% to charities, and you have a very nice selection of them. How did you come to this selection? How did you choose it?
So St. Raphael's Hospice cared for my late mother when she was terminally ill, and that was one that I was very committed to. I've always been committed to fundraising for St. Raphael's Hospice. And it's something that my family have always fundraised for. She passed in 2013, so what's that, 11 years ago? Goodness me, time flies. My dad's run again, talking marathons again. My dad's run marathons for them, and now we donate a proportion of our profits to St. Raph's. So that was an easy one. Also,
I think our particular areas of interest is outside of ones that have personally affected us, are things that have personally affected our friends as well.
Yeah. So
we wanted to choose charities that, I mean, we have so many wonderful LGBTQ friends, and we wanted, to support them as best we can.
Yeah.
And we also have the abortion support network on there. Again, things that have personally affected us and folks we know.
Yeah.
So
it was charities that are supporting the LGBTQ plus communities, providing healthcare for the communities, providing support, and I
think the hardest thing when you're picking charities to support is picking which ones not to support, or choosing out of a long list. But to be honest, because it's not, we haven't designed Hardee's books at this stage to be paying our livelihood.
No. We don't pay ourselves the salaries.
Yeah, we literally don't. No, it just goes back into the bank account.
Yeah, it just pays. Yeah. Everything either goes back into Hardee's, or it goes to the taxman, or it goes to the charities.
Yeah. So we wanted to kind of build it in from the start. Almost is almost using like the social enterprise / kind of charity shop kind of model. If it turns into a business that is, makes us enough to pay the mortgage and to feed the cat, and we can give everything else to charity, like, honestly, there would be nothing that give me more joy if we can do that.
That would be the dream.
Yeah.
I don't think we're at any point expecting it to become our main livelihoods. We both have day jobs.
Yeah.
And I think it's always going to be that one.
Well, you never know. Plus, like, feeding the cat is a very noble goal. I know, because I'm a cat owner as well.
That boy can eat.
He can really.
He's on like the most expensive cat food that I can find.
Yeah, same. They eat a lot, don't they?
Yeah.
Our boy is a 5 kilogram chunky. He's not chunky, but he's
just large.
He's a large
big
boy.
tomcat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen the picture of Fang on the about page, and he does seem like a moderate, not the chunker, but what's under chunk.
He's in proportion. He's felt. He's just large. He's like a tall human.
Yeah.
He's like Ross is a large man. He's tall. He's over 6 foot.
He's like a cat with a bit of caracal. He's just a little bit large.
Yeah.
Always there to investigate the new books, make sure they're safe before they come to the house.
And he does. And he really does.
Yeah.
In fact, he will literally, like, you'll be trying to read something in front of you. I mean, every cat does this. Come on. You'll be trying to read something in front of you, and he'll just kind of like go here.
Yeah.
What you reading?
Yeah. I don't know. Mine doesn't. But I'm really glad Fang is one of those cats. Because they're
Count yourself lucky, Stay, because earlier today he drooled down the side of my face. So what can you say?
Okay.
For context, he doesn't have any teeth.
He's got one tooth.
So he was found by Cats Protection, which is one of the charities that we support.
Yeah.
Living on a farm out in a village on the outskirts of the town that we live in. And he'd been beaten up by all the other cats, and he had like all his teeth broken, and he was covered in scabs and cuts and abscesses. So they had to remove all but one of his teeth. So now there's nothing holding his tongue in.
Oh.
So he's just always memming.
Drool.
He's always memming.
Just dripping on your laptop.
There's just drool. There's so much drool.
So much drool.
That does sound cute. I mean,
it is cute.
Sounds
it's
like
cute in a really disgusting way.
Well, for your we learned about you from your video, of course. And so what kind of led you to start the Hardee's Books YouTube channel after having the physical presence?
Yeah. So it was my crazy idea, because I was watching a lot of BookTube like back in September, I think, last year. And there are a couple of motivators for doing it. First of all, I have an ego, and wanted
We're both incorrigible show off.
Yeah, no,
basically.
I'm one of those creatives who really likes to create things to then show them off and get people's validation, and so basically any excuse to get out on the internet. But no, I tried actually making a YouTube channel before and didn't get much success with it. But this, it was nothing to do with books. It's a while ago, and this kind of. My expectations were fairly low around this one. I kind of figured it would be like a fun thing to do to promote the business, to promote the bookshop, and at the end of each video, kind of go like, check us out on on Hardee's books and go and buy a book or something. And to be honest, that's been like the least important thing of what we've done. Like, I'm not really sure how many people have actually watched our videos and then gone and bought a book from our website, which we're kind of discovering, like, people who buy books and people who buy rare antiquarian / signed modern first editions or whatever are kind of not exactly the same people who watch a lot of booktube, which is fine. Literally, discovering that is absolutely fine because
we're still having
fun. I would say the other motivator I had, and this kind of is built into the first motivator, was I'm also a writer. I'm working on the second draft of my first novel, and
it's really good.
Oh, thank you, Laura. That's very kind. You would have to say that though. If you didn't say that, we'd have words. But the
Can I just say also, I know for a fact my dad is not watching this because he's trying to call me right now.
So we can say whatever we want. Brilliant.
Outrageous.
That sounds fun. I mean, you get convo with your dad on live stream. Why not?
Yeah. So my plan was to self-publish, and I've now been peer pressured into pursuing traditional for that.
I have nothing against self-published authors, right? I just feel that you should at least try and be traditionally published.
Well, yeah, there you go. So I thought my original plan was, if you're going to self-publish something, it's worth building an audience first, and I thought that people might be interested in my thoughts about writing as well as reading, and thought I could kind of build that into the channel. And I have done a few videos on writing. They've probably been the least watched videos of all of them. But for the people that have watched them and enjoyed them, they're there. We never really expected to get algorithmic success with anything. We were in for the long haul.
Yeah. We're making content that we are enjoying making rather than what we think people will enjoy watching.
And making friends as well.
Which is probably the wrong approach to have.
Yeah.
But we're having fun and we're making lots of great friends. And I know some of them are watching.
Yeah.
Hi, guys.
Hi, friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of algorithmic success, like, how did it feel when your video about the hardcover reached 70,000 views?
Well, we were actually...
That was absolutely terrifying, I'm not going to lie.
Really?
We were like...
Okay.
Yeah, we were at a... this is one of the few times we actually have done anything... In fact, it's the first time we did anything in person. We were actually selling at a book fair. It was the first time we tried it.
And
so obviously...
Every time we checked the stats, it was just going up and up and up and up and up and up. I was like, I think our analytics are broken. It said that we've got 10,000 views, and that cannot possibly be right. But it was like it was absolutely bananas.
It's a fickle thing, the algorithm. I mean, you can do all the right things, and it can still, not, it you're never quite sure whether something's going to be a hit. This one, I wasn't sure, but I made a really good thumbnail, and and it's amazing how much of a difference a really good thumbnail can make.
And a mysterious title.
Yeah, and a mysterious. That's it. Yeah, the curiosity quotient.
It's all about clickbait, really, isn't it?
Got to be a little bit clickbait.
Like, ooh, what's this? The best alternative to Goodreads that I've never heard of.
So I was thinking, like, if it performs well, we might get 1,000 views. Like, that's kind of a really good video by us probably does about 1,000 views. We're now actually approaching 18,000.
Oh my
We're
god.
on 17.9.
And I wasn't wearing makeup.
That was so not a big deal. That was so not a big deal.
Ah! Oh dear.
Yeah. So
For-
wild, but cool.
And
Nice.
so for like other videos that you post on your channel,
Hmm.
do you have like a theme, or like what tends to make for a Hardee's Books video?
So we have a monthly book club
Yeah.
where we pick a book once a month that we both read, and then we do like an extended discussion video on the first Friday of every month.
Mhm. If we like the book, they're usually quite good videos. If we don't like the book,
It's
they are. It just devolves into like, you know, we're talking Lord of the Flies kind of, you know.
Just hope the author
throwing-
isn't listening.
Yeah, I know.
Pretty much.
Sorry, Pierce Brown.
Yeah.
So-
Mark Lawrence.
Mark Lawrence. So that's a regular rhythm. We
One
do
of
that.
the questions is if you could ask the author of this book one question, what would it be? And on the last one, which was a Mark Lawrence book, Ross was just like, would you consider an editor?
Oof.
Okay, but I do want to say, okay, it doesn't. Writing a book is a really, as I know, I'm a writer. It's a thing that takes a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of emotions. You pour everything into it, you know, and so we do try to be to incorporate that, to understand that, and to not be, you know, really negative on something. It's only when I feel like a book has really wasted my time that I get angry. Like if a book is overly long and doesn't go anywhere, or does so that's
The
basically
trouble with those
yeah.
with the book club videos is because we both committed to reading it and doing the video,
Mm.
and we've told our viewers in advance that we're going to do it. We can't DNF it.
Yeah.
Like, we have to finish it.
Absolutely. I think another principle regarding reviews, because we also do spoiler-free reviews too. I think generally on that mindset of not wanting to get really negative about things, I try to, because usually it's me doing some of the spoiler-free reviews. I think you've done one or two.
I did one.
That's more to highlight books that we really liked.
Yeah.
Or
Ross is a much faster reader than I am, for one. And I am a prolific DNFer.
Mm.
Like, I've DNF books because I didn't like the font.
Yeah.
Well, valid reason.
Well,
So that kind of hopefully gives you
I
an
admire
idea
that.
of our spirit.
Like I stick things out even when I'm like, I'm gonna rate this 1 star, but I'm just gonna finish
Oh
it.
no! If it's less than 4 stars, I'm not finishing it. Life is too short to read books that you're not enjoying.
Yeah.
You have my permission. I'm freeing you from this.
Adam, you can let it
Please
go.
take this.
Put it down.
Okay.
Okay.
Next
You
time.
no longer have to read books you're not enjoying.
I think that's it. So there are a few principles there into what makes a good Hardee's Books video to answer the question.
Yeah. What was the question again?
Highlight books we really like. Bring some chaotic energy. Hopefully make something that people will enjoy.
Yeah.
Make the thing that you'd watch, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
fundamentally, we just want to make the thing that we are enjoying. Like, we make videos that we enjoy making.
Yeah.
And hopefully that is also what people would enjoy watching.
We'll never put anything out that we're not
proud
happy
of.
with.
Yeah.
That sounds great. Yeah. And what would you say, like, because you're an author, you're book influencers in a non-TikTokish way, or in a TikTokish way, I guess. You're also readers. What would you say, like, is the difference that an author or a book influencer or a reader would want from a book platform? What are the different things?
Yeah.
Because you mentioned,
I was definitely thinking about this because I think that readers are happy to rely on influencers more to tell them what they should read, and they might not necessarily go to a book platform for their next recommendation. They might look at what the buzz is, but influencers are usually trying to get slightly ahead of the buzz.
Mm.
So what they're looking for is
What's coming up?
What's coming up,
out soon?
That's it. You know, that those early kind of first kind of words coming in from ARC readers, you know, they're looking for that kind of buzz, and that buzz is, by the time it's hit Daniel Green's YouTube channel, it's kind of too late.
Yeah.
You might be able to crest that wave, but the wave is already gone. Whereas, you know, if you can get ahead of that and being able to find those things on the book platform is, you know, going to make a lot of difference. I think for writers as well, this is, I think, something that that I don't think, for example, Goodreads has managed very well. Is, I think writers are looking for a platform that allows them to have a really fruitful and productive relationship with their audience. You listen to writers go, like, you know, talk about their Goodreads like profiles, or like Goodreads profiles for their books, and they don't want to look at them. They don't want to read the reviews.
I wouldn't. My God,
like,
I would not want to read reviews of my book.
It feels for them like a heavily, like a, you know, bad for mental health, essentially, a lot of the platforms that are out there. I don't know what the answer is there, but what I do know is that Goodreads is currently not the answer. You know, you could get your book might end up being rated 3.5 stars and it ruins your career, you know, or something stupid like that.
That would ruin my mental health more than anything.
You
know what I mean? Like, you've poured your life, like your heart and soul, into this creative endeavor, and someone's like, 1 star, and I'm like, oh.
And to be honest, I think that is perhaps more a problem with Goodreads' size and its inability to innovate, rather than the concept of rating and the general concept of a book platform where, you know, you are rating and reviewing. Once your audience becomes that big, it stops being personal. So to retain the personability, I think is really important. So those are just, I don't know. There's probably more thoughts there, but just those are the first things that come to mind.
There is a really neat study that Yelp did. Do you have Yelp? Is Yelp big in the UK?
I know what you're talking about. Okay. Yeah. We use like TripAdvisor or like you know.
I think that's but
they did this analysis of like different age groups to see like how are you making your choice of what restaurants you eat at, and it differed so much by age. Like for like people that were like boomer age, they were getting most of their recommendations from a combination of advertising and authority, and then Gen X was getting theirs mostly from like collective review, like summations of reviews, like here are the top restaurants. And then for millennials, it was more like influencers and people that like had taste that they aspired to. And I don't think it like Gen Z was even using Yelp when this was a thing. So that was as young as it went. But I'm really curious to understand like what the difference is going to be between people seeking out like influencers and people that you maybe aspire to or like their taste, and what like the next step is going to be after that. But I don't know if anyone has any thoughts on what that could be.
Let me just go and get my crystal ball.
I'm there to say that maybe it might still be influences, but I'm going to sound like such a crotchety old grandpa now.
I used to be with it.
Go for it.
What it was. Now what it is, isn't it? Anyway, if you look at some of the TikTok trends, there is something that concerns me there, which is that a lot of TikTok influencers are there's a big kind of like conspiracy community, I think, on TikTok.
Oh yeah.
Like people kind of watch it, like people who don't necessarily know what they're talking about doing videos that get horrendously popular. And so I think perhaps the future is still influencers, but not necessarily decided by their content, but by their algorithmic the susceptibility to them being picked up by the algorithm. I don't.
Which is terrifying.
It is terrifying. I don't want
as much as we want to hijack the algorithm and become wildly popular.
Yeah,
but
I don't necessarily want a machine deciding that people. Well, maybe I don't care that much, but maybe I don't want. I kind of don't want like I don't want people finding us because an AI has decided that we're the best, video for them. Maybe, I don't know.
We are the best video for them, though.
We are. They should know that. They don't need an AI to tell them that.
Also, there is a possibility that my dad is now watching.
Yeah. Hey, Trevor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dad, if
Good
you're
to
there.
have you here.
Yeah, Dad, if you are there, sorry.
Yeah. I will just say that I don't think that's I don't want to. That's not that I think that millennials are superior to Gen Z and that we don't get fooled or bought into everyone is just as susceptible to the algorithm. I don't think that's necessarily a generational divide. It's just that's kind of where the audience is right now. Like the Gen Z audience would be on TikTok more than they'd be on YouTube, more than they'd be on Instagram. And I think did you know actually our most successful video actually was on TikTok, but it wasn't something we made. It was randomly we were
This was the weirdest thing.
We were walking around New York on holiday a few years ago, and
this random bloke walks up to us. We were crossing by NYU on one of the little squares, and this guy runs up to us and like shoves this microphone in our face. And it's like, what's the best song of all time? And
best love song of all time.
No, he said, what's the best song of all time? And we were like, what? Yeah. We were like typical Londoners. We were like, who are you? Get that out of my face. And he was like, what's the best love song of all time?
That's right.
And we just panicked. And Ross went, Islands in the Stream. And he was like, who's that by? And Ross went, really?
Anyway, this video that we thought was just by some random college kid turns out to be by a really popular TikToker, and it got over 600,000 views.
Jeez.
Oh wow!
And then we both started singing "Islands in the Stream."
And
that's on TikTok.
That's on TikTok somewhere.
Oh, I have got to look that up.
Yeah,
that's funny. You can put it in the description.
I cannot wait to watch this.
Yeah,
we're both just like "Islands in the Stream." That is what we got.
As a former music student, I clicked on 1 and 3, and I absolutely hate. So I clicked on 1 and 3. I had to hand my degree back in. Sorry.
That's
anyway,
great.
what were we talking about?
I don't
talking about what's the next generation.
There was an itinerary when we started this video.
Who knows?
And I have no idea if we've stuck to it.
No, we're on track. We're on track. This is exactly what we should be talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Way at the beginning, before we started, for the benefit of the viewers, Adam was like, "We're going to try and stick to the script. Like at this point, we'll start talking about this, and then
pretty clear timings. Yeah.
We're just like,
there's a bell that go off. When we're trying to change. No, hijacked.
Don't worry, it's all under control. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing you all have to worry about.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's great. I wanted to ask you next, after watching your video, you could tell you had some strong feelings about the book industry and book social networks. And what's your experience been with certain book platforms and apps, and how would you feel that should improve? I mean, touching on the what's the next generation gonna look like? How do you think that's gonna?
Well, you definitely picked up on the fact that we both have strong opinions. That is something that I think characterizes our videos, and is one of the things that people come back for. Yeah, the key target of most folks' ire when it comes to books platforms is Goodreads for good reason. And I think that I've touched on a few things there regarding kind of like ratings and the audience size. I think the main issue with a lot of these apps is the lack of innovation. And that's kind of what happens when you're.
God. Did you realise the cat was under the table this whole time?
Is he? Oh, I didn't realise.
Sorry. Carry on, guys.
I was trying to answer that question. I was just getting distracted by Laura going, what's going on? Anyway,
Carry on.
This is great.
you can do it.
It's really like pathetic meow.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
Rescue the cat.
Yeah.
God.
Okay. So
hi, Fang.
right. Goodreads.
Yeah.
I mean, Goodreads is very much kind of like, being bought by Amazon and being owned by another company. The impetus becomes less about building a great app and more about pleasing the shareholders or the investors. Welcome, Fang.
Hiya.
Just joining in here. There you go, licking Laura's arm.
Oh, look at that.
Tom. Yeah. Oh, he's always the star of the show whenever he joins our videos. In the last one, he literally sat in front of the camera, and he'd never done that before. Anyway,
he knows what it is.
So I think that when something grows to a certain scale and when it's taken over by other people, there is the impetus to innovate has been lost. And also, likewise, you're I don't necessarily think this is. I don't want to slam Goodreads for this, but I think it's just a nature of being so big is that you are going to have so many disparate voices asking for different things. You can't please everyone, and so therefore you're going to end up with the safest, most kind of generic possible, thing. And it's, to be honest, I think it's an absolute miracle they redesigned. I am honestly shocked that happened, because there was no impetus for them to do that. So I think that's probably, looking at the key target out there, I think that's something that's a fault in the current biggest offering. I don't know, that one thing that I've noticed in trends, and I noticed it in the comments of our video actually, and on other things online, is that, so we have, AI is, what's he doing? What the hell is he doing? Stop it. Stop distracting. I'm making a serious point, Cat. So obviously now we have this really powerful tool called AI. And AI is both a tool for good and a tool that can be used for, in unethical ways. And I think that we're seeing a bit of perhaps an initial backlash to AI, and in its place a re-emphasis on human curation, which is one of the things I like so much about Hardcover. Is although you do have the AI and the algorithmic options, you also have made the human options for discovering books really, you prioritize them. Like I mentioned it in the video, I love the prompts. I know Goodreads has this, which is a bit similar, but to get to lists, you have to go like 4 menu items to find, and to my, in my experience, no one ever seems to use them. Whereas, you built it straight into the platform. You made them really easy to use, really easy to kind of highlight and put them on your profile, easy to post online, get feedback. So I think that the emphasis on human curation, on human kind of sharing, we're going to see probably more of that in as a backlash to AI. We might see that in the short term. Long term, AI is here to stay. is going to be in everything. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. You know, I like what you've started with Ask Jules. I think that's an exciting offering. Like over time, we're going to work out how best to use AI and how to use it ethically and how to, you know, develop, you know, the best ways of making it intelligent and insightful. But I'm going to suggest that the best way is not going to be by having Scarlett Johansson voice your AI helper. So please don't give Scarlett Johansson's voice to Jules. You know, that would be.
You know, I'm hoping Stay can voice it. So
yeah, there we go. There we go. I've just put a timestamp on this video in terms of historical context. So if anyone's watching this on catch up and has missed that bit of news, then go look up the current controversy regarding GPT 4.40 or whatever it is. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. High horse opinions. Get down.
That's awesome. Yeah. Even us, I was a user on Goodreads for years, but only on the reader side. So I really haven't explored any of the the author side, the publisher side, any of the creator side, or even like the influencer side, which is potentially a whole other set of needs that's going to be very different from just a reader looking for books. One of the things that we've been trying to do more of is like figure out like what are like the book social network features and things that influencers could benefit from. And it's such an open-ended question, but I'm curious if anything comes to mind for you for that. Things that you even personally could benefit from.
I mean, on the influencer side, I think that having it's almost like having the physical copy of a video. Like, say that I made it. Well, let's look at our most recent video. We did top 10 fiction books. You know, to be able to turn that into, I mean, for all intents and purposes, it almost becomes a blog post. Like, you know, a top 10 of like basically using lists to be able to kind of compile something, you know, a hard link to, you know, the context of this video, and then and I think it's in your feature roadmap about having kind of comments to go alongside prompts or lists or things like that. I think that's a feature which I would love to see and love to use more. Basically, like to turn every video we've done into a hardcover list of some kind.
That would be fun.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I think that's brilliant, and having that in the links in the description, and also inviting people to comment or contribute. You know, maybe there's maybe it's actually on the front end of making a video. So rather than you know, making something that goes with a video, you're actually asking for audience input before you even make the video and going, right, so audience, what are the, you know, best space operas ever made, just to steal one of your prompts. Like, I think that's exciting for influencers for sure, like those features, and really building that in. On a personal level, and this is something that I don't think is on your roadmap, but I would kind of be excited to see, is one of the things that actually made me, and I sorry to mention another app on your stream, but Storygraph, which, you know, a lot of people were commenting about Storygraph in the comments of our video, asking, you know, why don't you use Storygraph? And I feel like I explained my reasons pretty clearly in the video. But one thing that they do have, which, you know, I think is quite nice, is to be able to, using your current, so your TBR list essentially, in a more of a planning way. So leave this cat. What are you doing? Okay, I'm picking you up.
No.
So here he is. So they have the up next section. So you can basically say, like, okay, from your TBR, which ones are you actually planning to read once you finish the book you're currently reading? And I like that feature from them. I don't know if that's, you know, something that you'd ever consider, but it's maybe there's even another way of doing that that's more hardcover and less storygraph. But he's literally this is his tail. This is his tail in the camera.
Here we
This is
go.
cool.
He's flaunting it. Well done, Fang. That's
Did you
perfect.
see on our latest video I had to do some clever motion tracking on DaVinci Resolve, put a little emoji in front of his butthole as he was moving around on the screen.
It was really following it directly.
Yeah. DaVinci Resolve's pretty good. I'm enjoying it quite a lot.
I know you're talking about your butthole on the live stream.
Oh no.
He's proud of that butthole. He licks it all the time. He keeps that clean.
We had a concept of something similar to that for a little while. We might bring it back, but it was the idea of starred books. So in the book button, where it has the little icon for your status, we had an option to star the book there.
Right.
And then any list you could like filter by starred. So you could say, what's my want to read starred list, or what's my read starred list?
That's cool.
Then people started asking for that.
Again. Yeah.
People started asking for that plus liked books. And so they kind of got confused between starred and liked. So we kind of went back to the drawing board.
If you can explain the use case and kind of make that signpost really clearly what that's, one helpful way you can use that, then that I think there's still a case for it. But the issue, I guess, is like building something that people don't really know how to use, and then it just becomes bloat.
How about just having like an up next?
Well, yeah, that's what exactly what Storygraph does. It's just a different way of doing it, essentially. Framing it.
Yeah.
But
that's we briefly talked about this because it's a hard problem, and a book is, people always compare us to Letterboxd. We're the Letterboxd for books, but reading a book seems to me like a way bigger investment than watching a show, which is 2 hours long. You really have to get invested in books, so you kind of like have to plan your time, and during your lifetime you're gonna read like a certain limited number of books. I mean, if you think about it, I don't know, maybe it's 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 20,000. But
maybe Adam might get that number. I'll be happy with 1,000.
Which of you was it saying that you'd already read 53 books this year?
That was Jeff.
Jeff is in a whole other league. Yeah,
I might have read 52 books, but half of them are comics. So
that doesn't count.
I'm on 21 right now, but that's. I'm trying to do a book a week this year, so that's not how many I'd normally read.
I'm on 9.
That's good. It's all right.
Which is way higher than it usually is at this time of the year. Since we started doing the YouTube channel, I've really picked it up.
You have to read a lot of books.
Hello.
Yeah, it really makes sense to have that, planning, I guess, in that case.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at planning my TBR though. This is something that I've talked about on videos before. I'm such a mood reader. I'm just like, what do I fancy? One of our friends, who I don't know if he's watching, Sam Harrison, he like plans his TBR like meticulously,
like a month or two in advance.
Yeah, and he like alternates science fiction, fantasy, science fiction, fantasy, science fiction, fantasy. I really envy that he can be that organized about it, whereas I'm just like, what do I feel like?
I'm pretty much the same, although we do have to plan a little bit with the book club, and I like to kind of think one book ahead, kind of, once I finish this book, so I can look forward to the next one. Once I finish this book, I can start on
but also I read multiple books at the same time.
That's also true. Yeah.
So I say I've only read 9 books this year, but I am reading 4 books at the moment. So once I finish these 4, it will suddenly jump up,
We've been, as we've talked to more people, like almost everyone we talk to is like, I read one book in this genre, one book in that genre. I'm listening to one book. I have one physical book. I have one like ebook.
Yeah, that's exactly. So I'm like eyeball reading Promise of Blood for our book club.
Brian McClellan.
By Brian McClellan. I'm listening to Hunger of the Gods by John Gwynne. I'm also listening to the 3rd Murderbot Diaries. I'm reading Psalm for the Wild Built by
Becky
Becky Chambers. So I've got multiple things on the go, and they're all gonna sort of finish at roughly the same time. So my 9 is gonna suddenly jump up.
That's a good feeling.
Yeah.
Seeing your 1 book ahead of schedule or your 6 book, that's
It
good.
says I'm 3 behind, and I'm like,
It's got to be more novellas. Hurry up.
Well, we usually close these down. I say usually, like you're only our second guest we've had, so we're trying to start a trend of finishing up these with a couple hot seat questions. I was
Sure.
hoping to ask to both of you.
Yeah, great. Is this like all star Mr. and Ms. Is like a we've got to get the correct answer that the other person would have said.
That's a good idea, but
Yeah,
not this time.
yeah, not this time. But that would be a good way to divide you instead of bring you together.
Yeah.
So, what book got each of you into reading?
For me, it was Horrible Histories.
you stole mine.
The Rotten Romans.
Oh,
I read all the Horrible Histories books.
so did I.
Like devoured them when I was a kid. Stayed up late reading them, later than I should have. So from that sense, that was it. When adult wise, good question. Come back to me, Laura. What about you?
Also, Horrible Histories. Boring answer. But also Artemis Fowl. I loved Artemis Fowl as a kid. So, like, as a child, I loved Artemis Fowl. Harry Potter. Although, let's not talk politics on your lovely live stream, but we don't love J.K. Rowling so much now. But Harry Potter was very formative for me as like a young teen.
Yeah.
But then, after when I like graduated and got back into reading, it was Game of Thrones.
That's sort of, I can claim that one too.
Yeah. The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. So like the first Law trilogy.
That one keeps coming up on my list.
Oh my god.
Adam, audiobook.
Read it.
You get Stephen Pacey. He is like the best audiobook narrator you've ever heard. Just it's it doesn't feel like reading a book. It kind of feels like cheating, like you're listening to a radio play.
Oh, bloody hell, cat.
He's not
He's not got my water bottle.
He is being such a
Thankfully it was sealed.
Yeah. Right, sorry.
Sorry.
So yes, there you go. Horrible Histories, Game of Thrones, stuff like
that. I'm gonna say it. I'm almost ashamed to say this. Twilight.
Hey.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
I feel like there's so much.
I
feel like there is so many people like judging people on what they read. Like I just want people to read and be happy. Like
I was
open. Come on in.
So like 2008 was when the first Twilight film came out, and I was so team Jacob, like so aggressively team Jacob, and I read all the Twilight books. I was a proper little Twilight fangirl. In my defense, I was like 16, so
yeah.
You can go to the town in Washington State where they filmed it, and
I would love to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like up by Seattle.
Looks very cold.
It does look cold and wet.
It does, but then we're English.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
well, second question here.
Would you reread Twilight now? Absolutely not. No, sorry, Bonnie. No.
I think I would.
I'm not going to lie. Yeah. Occasionally, I do watch clips of it on YouTube. But I don't think I would reread it now. No.
Adam, you were just about to ask a question. What's the next one?
I was gonna ask that question that Bunny asked, and then I was
really?
So you beat me to it. But and then kind of a next hot seat question. What's the book you find yourself recommending to people the most often?
Oh, I'll get it. What's yours? Mine's this.
Oh God.
Piranesi, Susanna Clarke.
Piranesi.
I actually have No joke. I have a second copy here for if ever it comes up at home. Like if
wow.
folks around, I can be like, I can give it to them and be like, no, just read this. There you go. So I love it.
This is why we built these shelves, so that we can just be like, Station
There we
11,
go.
Emily St. John Mandel.
That's-
absolutely incredible. Some of the best speculative fiction / sci-fi I've ever read in my entire life. However, it is about a plague, a pandemic. So if that's not your vibe post COVID, maybe skip it.
Yeah, it's a bit close to home. In fact, it's even close. Like if you not the sequel, but the next book she wrote, Sea of Tranquility. It's amazing how like she incorporated the pandemic into it as well.
Also, this is my favorite book series of all time. Bang, please, babes, come on, behave.
So the Realm of the Elderlings, Assassin's Apprentice, Farseer trilogy. That's a book that if you like fantasy and also like being sad.
Yeah, I love to sad.
There we go.
Our dear
Yeah.
friend
Okay.
Charlie. I love to sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is an absolute masterpiece in character-driven fantasy. It's quite slow-paced, but it is just. Our dear friend Andrew Watson has just done a spoiler-filled review of the second of this trilogy, Royal Assassin. So you can, if you have read the Farseer trilogy, I would recommend you go and check out his videos.
Yes. He doesn't need a shout out. He's got like 10,000.
He's got like 10,000 followers, so I don't know why I'm shouting you out, Andrew, but here I am.
He doesn't need it.
And that book's on the like NPR did this top 100 science fiction fantasy books of all time, and Assassin's Apprentice is on that list too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Not surprised.
I don't need to shout out Assassin's Apprentice either, but here I am.
It's a good one.
I hope my dad's not watching. If you are, Dad, I am sorry. But I was at one point tempted to get a Farseer tattoo. I didn't, but I haven't ruled it out.
I've got a Susanna Clarke tattoo. I've got the Raven from Jonathan Strange on my arm. So I mean, you know, I'm in.
I'm going to do one
I love
more
that.
book that I keep recommending to people and just shouting at people to read. Hang on. One sec.
Here she goes. Sorry, I'm in the way now.
Move.
I'm holding the cat because he was being so. Hey, there you go.
And this one that we mentioned earlier.
Yes, Abercrombie, The Blade itself.
Okay.
Read it, Adam.
I'll move that one higher in my list.
There you
I
go.
can't believe you haven't read it. I will say again, it's quite dark. It's what they call grim dark fantasy. Grim dark because it's grim and dark. But it's also really funny.
It's laugh out loud funny.
It's just so good. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Love.
Were these questions supposed to be answered fast? Because
Yeah. This is like quick
No,
fire.
that was fast
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah. And last question. So let's say you have a day off, there's no work, and you've decided you're gonna read. What would you describe as your like ideal situation for reading? Like describe the environment, like where you are, what you have with you, how you're reading. What's that look like?
I can tell you exactly what that would be, because I did it a bit last year. Just picture yourself in the far extremes of Western Cornwall. If you don't know what the landscape of Cornwall is like, picture green rolling fields. The sea can be seen both north and south coast from a single point. You got stone like walls separating the fields, moss. You got like birds flying low over them, kind of undulating, low clouds, but there's a little bit of blue just breaking through. Little bit of dew kind of just like beading in cobwebs in the kind of trees and the bushes around you, and you're sitting inside a steel shepherd's hut, closed off to the elements, lying on a camping bed, and you're just looking out and seeing the sea in front of you, and you pick up a book and read it from cover to cover in a single day. That is my ideal reading day. I did that last year with The Player of Games. Ian M. Banks just like read that entire book in like one day, in this beautiful shepherd's hut in the far extremes of Cornwall. And Cornwall is actually the setting is the fantasy version of Cornwall, setting of my book. It's a place that's very close to my heart. So that's where I would be and what I'd be doing. Laura, what about you?
I like reading in the bath.
This is true. Read until the bathwater goes cold.
Yeah.
Run a new one.
Run a new bath.
All right.
That or so I've never had a proper garden in my life. So my garden at where I grew up was just paved. But in our new house we have a proper garden with beautiful plants, and I've got loads of bird feeders. And what I've taken to doing recently is sitting on our little patio chairs with my Kindle and sit and read for a little bit, and then I look at goldfinches on my little bird feeder, watch the birds for a bit, read a bit more, watch the birds for a bit, read a bit more.
Sorry, I got FaceTime turned on. I needed to.
What was that?
Oh, the reactions. There you go. I'll turn that off. Oh, wait a second. I can do like a. Let's do let's celebrate that.
Oh,
Come on,
here we go.
That's
That's more like it.
Both of those sound very cozy.
So professional.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've hit our 30s really, really hard.
Yeah.
We like watching birds and sitting in shepherd's hut.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Thanks so much for being up for coming on the Hardcover Live. Yeah, after you posted the video, I was like, okay, we need to see if they're down for it. So we're very happy you were.
Oh, 100%. This has been an absolute joy. I really enjoyed chatting to you both. You know, and genuinely so thrilled that it's causing good problems for you.
Yeah.
That we had such success with the video.
Oh, yeah.
It makes it's really, as I was saying at the start of the video, it's really nice to be able to support you know, a team that is doing something that you think is worthwhile and going to
Can we just give some of our friends a little shout out?
Oh, go for it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Go ahead.
So our friend Mare has a really lovely new channel. If you love really sweary book reviews, go and follow Lady Mare Reads on YouTube.
MAIR.
Yeah, she is fantastic. And every time I watch one of her videos, I start like laugh snorting within 5 seconds because she's just hysterical.
Sam Harrison as well, someone who kind of started a bit earlier than us, but has kind of been coming up with us at about the same time.
Yeah.
He has a ridiculous work rate.
Yeah,
like
he's
5
so
videos
consistent.
a week. Brilliant guy.
For every one video that we make, he's making 5.
Yeah.
He's like the most hardworking YouTuber I know.
So those folks need follows.
Cams Campbell Reads.
Yeah, Cams Campbell Reads as well.
Who else? Who else is in our content creators chat?
We can shout out a bunch of names. Rebecca Nicole.
Yeah.
Well.
Oh my God, Rebecca. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. What's her handle? I'm trying to remember.
Something like. But anyway, we can give you these links. You can show them.
Yeah, I was about to say we can like share them with everyone. Yeah. You know, have the links up there. It's great, you know, to spread the love around.
Yeah, I particularly wanted to shout out Mare though because she's really, really new. And last time I checked, she only had like 50 subs, which is just criminal. So yeah, go and follow our lovely friend Mare, please.
Here we go.
And
where can people find you all online?
Oh yeah, so
yeah.
So just find at Hardee's Books everywhere. I say everywhere that we're on. So YouTube, Instagram.
We do technically have a TikTok that I literally never update.
We have abandoned it, kind of, sort of. Yeah. Sorry. And hardeesbooks.co.uk. If you are interested in buying a book, that's the place to go. You can also check out our hardcover profiles. I think I am at Ross Hardee.
I'm at LJ Martin.
Yeah. So we'll give you the links for that as well. And you can stick them up there. Yeah, find us there. And look out for, hopefully, eventually, news on when I might release my book.
And when it does come out, it's absolutely hysterical and brilliant and wonderful, much like its writer.
Yeah. So look out for Coup d'etat. That's coup d'etat, but spelled coop, like a chicken coop.
Because one of the characters is a chicken.
Look out for that. Hopefully within the next couple of years.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for coming on. And
You're so welcome. Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Please don't phone my dad back now.
Cool. Well, bye. Talk to y'all later.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.